I was 13 when this happened, and it still gives me nightmares thinking about it. My parents wanted to go out on a date night, so they left me home on a Friday night. I am an only child, so I stayed home alone. We had a one-story home with a daylight basement that had its entrance. We live on a dead-end street that is pretty quiet in the evening, so not many cars come and go. My neighbors are pretty close to my house too, so I did not feel uncomfortable being home by myself. So my parents left around 6 p.m. for their dinner reservation, and I had a nice hot pizza delivered and was ready to watch some scary movies all by myself. I was excited. I locked the door behind them and popped on the TV. I was scrolling through the movies on my Roku app and decided to watch one of the Halloween movies first. I snuggled in my nice warm fuzzy blanket on the couch, got comfy, and began my night alone. About an hour passed and I got up to use the bathroom. While in the bathroom, I thought I heard noises coming from the basement. It sounded like something was moving around, but I figured I was home alone. What could it be? So I brushed it off as nothing. I finished in the bathroom and went back to my couch to finish the movie. Another 5 minutes passed and again, moving noises in the basement. Now I started getting that nervous feeling in my gut. I stopped the movie to listen to more noises. Oh crap, what is that? I thought about that entrance door down there and wondered if it was locked. I assumed my parents locked it. Oh, I hope they did. I did not know what to do. I took a deep breath and decided to walk towards the basement and put my ear to the door. What a mistake. I heard footsteps coming up the stairs. I froze in fear. This has never happened to me before. I have been home alone in the past, but mostly during the day. I know the obvious thing to do would be to call the cops, but did I do that? No. I ran outside, went to my neighbor's house, and banged on their door. Thankfully, they were home and let me in. I was out of breath, scared, and could not get the words out fast enough. I asked them to please call the cops. There was someone in my house. Hurry, please. They called 911, and the cops came over within 10 minutes. I also called my parents to let them know what was going on. I let the cops check out the house, and I stayed at my neighbor's where I felt safe. After some time, one of the cops came over to my neighbor's house and said they did not find anyone in the house, but did say that whoever it was came in through the basement entrance. It must have been unlocked. Nothing was taken and everything was in its place. My parents got home and, of course, were very upset and scared. The cops assured us the house was clear and to please lock our doors and windows at all times. They think this person saw my parents leave and assumed the house was empty. I don't want to think that this person knew I was home alone. After some thought, my mother said, "Oh no, I don't think we locked the basement door." She just assumed since we lived in a quiet neighborhood, we were safe, so she did not really worry about it. Needless to say, after that night, we all made sure every door and window stayed locked. They still leave me alone, but they let the next door neighbors know when they do, just in case. I still think about this night, and it gives me nightmares. I'm 16 now, and feel a little uneasy being home alone, but I know I need to get over it. Please stay safe out there, and always lock your doors. You don't know who is lurking around your neighborhood. This event has stuck with me throughout my life. This happened when I was in middle school, and now being 23 years old, I still remember it vividly. I used to live in this house from 4th grade to my high school graduation. For most of my younger life living there, I had a loft bed in my room. I also was lucky enough to be given a room with a walk-in closet, since I had more clothing than my sister. This closet had a light switch on the outside and a lock on the inside of the door, at some point if I remember correctly. I even put a lock on the wall, so I could lock it from the outside. I'm not sure why now. Either way, I was very strict about sleeping with it closed every night. One night, I was sleeping on the loft bed and had been woken up on my back. I had always been a stomach sleeper, so this was already weird. I was compelled to sit up slightly and looked over the side of my bed to where the closet was. The door was wide open with the light on, and the inside was completely empty of any of my belongings. The only sign there was ever clothing in there was a few pieces of clothing left on the ground in a path away from the closet. Like when you do laundry and try to carry all your clothes, that piece would fall out on your way. While staring at my open closet, a dark shadow developed on the carpeted floor below the threshold of the closet. From that shadow, a dark mass grew from the ground at a steady but slow pace. As it rose, it developed more features, grew empty eye sockets, teeth, and a resemblance of a face. It rose until it stood just below the top of my closet door height. It was a dark hooded figure with no body shape. Its robe simply connected with the ground and melted back into its shadow. Under the hood was a protruding bleach-white deer skull with sharp teeth poking out in perfect symmetry. I stared at it blankly, feeling almost in a trace unable to react or accurately process what was happening. After a few seconds of its existing in my space, it lifted its stare to face mine from on top of my loft bed. We held what eye contact we could with its empty black voids in place of eyes. Against my will, I slowly tilted my head down and nodded slowly to this figure. A second after my acknowledgement, it returned the nod and began to descend back into the shadow it had risen from. I watched as it slowly disappeared from existence until eventually the shadow didn't even exist anymore. Only then did I feel whatever force compelled me to sit up and move in the first place let go, and I fell backward onto my back and instantly was asleep again. I woke up the next morning to find my room completely normal, closet closed, light off, and full of my usual possessions. Yet I remembered that night's events and the feeling of it vividly. I still can now. Since that night, I've never experienced that same scenario or anything similar to it. Now I'll admit some things about myself. I have never slept walked in my life, not in my childhood and not in my adulthood. The most that happens is I talk and laugh in my sleep. I dream almost every night, and those dreams can be very vivid. I'd often wake up from them and have to take a second to realize I'm back in reality. However, I always know the difference between sleeping and being awake, and that night I swear I was awake. I felt myself move. I was sitting up and fell back on my bed. My eyes were open. I was being pulled by something and could feel it move me and release me. I try not to think about it too much.